The Cleveland Browns travel to Denver to take on the Broncos for Monday Night Football. Welcome, everyone. Andy and Andrew from WagerTalk. We're going to break down the props, and at the end, we're going to have a fun same game parlay. It's not a huge thing, but let's have a little fun with it and see if we can get a big underdog thing going here. So, Andrew, weather looks to be pretty good tonight. No snow game like we had last night. Looks like it's going to be around 40 degrees, so I don't think we'll have a game. So let's jump into the props. If you guys could hit the like button, leave us a comment in the comment section. Tell us what your best bet is for this game. And as always, if you don't have a hot take or anything, you just want to help us out, code word of the day is magic. Type the word magic in the comment section. So, all right, Andrew, let's jump into it. Hope you had a good weekend. I know you said you're on a really nice 7-1 totals run in the NFL. 3-0 this week in the NFL. And so the question is, do you just take the 3-0 and run, or do you put in a play? do you bet something on Monday Night Football? But there are a couple of plays that I really like. We'll start with the passing props. First off, how's your weekend going, man? And what do you like passing props wise?
It's going all right, Andy. It's going very low volume. So, when you ask me that question, when you're a low volume bettor and you're going through a low volume period, when someone asks you that, you're kind of like, how many plays have I had lately? And you try and think of it, and it's been like, I'm like 1-1 my last 3 days, So
Yeah.
it's been about 500. It's been about 500, but very, very rare for me to have a 4% play in the NFL. And I do have one tonight in the total market. So looking forward to that. But I want to take a look at Bo Nix over on his passing yard numbers. And I think that people look at this Browns team and they'll think the defense can be a little bit intimidating. But, you look at the attempts even for Bo Nix lately, 42, 33, 30, 33, 37. He's getting those numbers against no matter what teams it might be. But I also think in particular, this number is just a little bit light. And you look at the Browns passing defensive numbers again versus their rushing defense numbers. I feel like their secondary is kind of where they've been caught a little bit. I think Bo Nix is a guy that's not afraid to throw the long ball. And it kind of feels like the Browns are a team that definitely gives up a couple long balls each game. They kind of want to try and get you to beat them over the middle and kind of these short passes. But the way Bo Nix is playing right now, I feel like he's not being talked about enough. And I think that there's a lot more options for him these days and not just one or two guys for him to rely on. The total super low in this game, or relatively low, which means that we're getting a little bit probably lower numbers on some of these prop bets. So I do think that Bo Nix over 221.5 passing yards is a good one. And I'm going to look towards Jameis Winston, and I'm going to take the under on his attempts. I just like that number here just because the amount that we see him run, no matter what the matchup is, I understand the Broncos have a respectable rush defense, but he takes off himself enough. They've got their running backs that are, up there in the league in attempts per game. This to me seems like a spot where I'm going to see them, kind of having these kind of quicker drives. And if they do have success, they're going to go down the field pretty quick. So under 35.5 passing attempts for Winston and over on passing yards for Bo Nix.
Well, this is fun because I'll go head to head with you. Let's have a gentleman's bet on Jameis over. I'll take over his attempts. Since he started, he had 41, 46, 46. And then, the last week, the crazy game against Pittsburgh where he only threw it 27 times. But I don't really like how this Cleveland team has been playing. They got a pretty nice gift last week with that crazy Pittsburgh game. But before that, they lost to New Orleans and the Chargers. I could see a situation where they kind of have to play a little bit of catch up here. I am with you on Bo Nix. I'm trying to figure out why this number is 221. Like, what algorithm did they use? Like, what numbers are they taking into account? Because, I mean, the last couple weeks, 273 and 307. The week before, he had only had 215. But that was against Kansas City, one of the best defenses in the league. Then 223 against Baltimore, 284 against Carolina. So you're telling me he's gone over this number in the last last 5 games, except against the Chiefs? I'm kind of going, okay, that's pretty good performance. So I think I'm with you that Bo Nix seems a little bit low in this one. So not much on the passing touchdowns. I guess if you think I mean, if you're taking one of them, it's probably Jameis just because it's plus 155. But that being said, he's thrown 0 last week, 2 against New Orleans, 1 against the Chargers. So it's not really something that jumps off the page.
So,
For
Andy,
me.
I found this quite kind of interesting here. Red zone touchdown rate: Browns 62.5%, Broncos 39.4%.
Really?
That's kind of that's shocking. Like, that is one of those ones where you kind of look at it and you're like, is that a real stat here?
That's very
Yeah.
that surprised me. That
Like,
surprised me
that
quite a
makes you
bit.
want to look at field goal props, and we haven't looked at field goal props like all year on the show, but it might be something worth looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't get there on any of the interceptions, so we'll keep an eye on Jameis on his pass attempts. So, all right, let's jump to receiving props. There's only one that jumps off the page for me because I think most of these are dialed in, and they're all kind of in that same. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3. I got 5 guys in between this 36.5 and 64.5. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and I will take the over 13.5 on Mr. Jordan Akins. So since Jameis took over, Jameis's first game, Akins only gets 1 target, no yards. But the next 3 games, Andrew, he's had 4 targets in every single game. He's had 32, 19, and 38 receiving in those 3 games. And my favorite part, here's his longest catch in each of those games: 21, 19, and 18. So on 1 catch, he smoked this number. This is kind of the Noah Gray type of play that I like, where it's like the secondary tight end who, twice a game is wide open, like running across the middle of the
Zero
field.
attention on them.
No attention to him whatsoever. And again, we have a game where I don't think it's going to be that big of a weather game, but even if it is, I mean, last week 3 catches on 4 targets for 38 yards. So these are the plays that are off the radar that I just absolutely love. So I'm not going to worry too much about any of the other ones. Um, this is totally setting up for me to look like a bonehead, and I completely get it, and I'm ready for it, Andrew. But Nick Chubb at 3.5 receiving yards. Do you know in his last 4 games he has -3?
I can't believe you're saying this. I was literally going to bring up a parlay leg
Oh,
under
go for it.
1.5 receptions. So
I,
that is
I, yeah, yeah,
hilarious.
I was
That is
gonna,
hilarious.
I was
And I
gonna bring
figured that
this
you'd
up.
probably get a kick out of that. I figured you'd get a kick out of that.
You
Yeah.
talk about the receptions because it was coming up next. Please
No,
go for it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just thought that was awesome that you mentioned Nick Chubb, and that's the better way of going about it. What you were just saying is the better way to go about it, because all I noticed when I was looking at some of my numbers here and some of the websites I use was the fact that 6 straight games and it's just not even close. The guy is a running back, and he is only a running back. He's not catching balls, and sometimes when he does, he ends up going backwards, like you said. And in this particular situation, there's only a few guys that I have circled here, and one of them is Jerry Jeudy, and I'm not going to take his receptions. I'm going to actually take his yards. The number that I jumped in at was 59.5 here, but 4 straight gains for him. And the thing that I love the most, the targets: 6, 11, 11, and 8. Last 4 games for him. He's getting the opportunities. He's getting the attention. I think this Jerry Jeudy number is a little bit light here for this game. And again, because the total is where it is, I think that that's probably the reason why we're getting certain numbers the way they are. But going back to what you said there about Nick Chubb, that's definitely the better way of going about it. But I have to ask you now, looking at this, the 1.5 being -250. And then, of course, the number that you said, what did you say it was for the receiving yards?
So the receiving yards is only 3. It's only 3.5, and it's at regular juice. So -110.
Because they think if he gets 2, then he probably hits it. But if he only gets 1, he might not. Like, that's interesting. The 3.5 yards, but 1.5 receptions under -250.
Well, he has 2 targets in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So now the reason I say I'm fully prepared to look like a bonehead is on the first series when they design a screen pass that goes for 17 yards. I'm prepared for it, but I'm just pointing out. I'm just pointing out that
You and I are just laughing. Like someone walks in the room, they're like, "Why are you laughing so hard? The game just started."
It's like
Oh, Nick
Chubb's
Chubb.
running down the sideline after a screen pass. So yeah, Andrew, there's one in the NBA that's going on right now. It's Clint Capella. Will he have an assist? and it's minus 250, and you're like, that's ridiculous. Except he's hit it 14 games in a row. And it's like, no, minus 250 is a steal. It's a great price if he's hit it 14 games in a row. So, yeah, honestly, not too much else that I can find like value on with these Browns receivers, and obviously Cortland Sutton's been really good. I guess I would lean over 64.5, but I like these under the radar ones. I like Akins and fading Chubb. So
When
those
I
are your
look at Humphrey's numbers, they're a little bit intriguing there with the what's that number there? 18 and a half
18
right
and a
now.
half.
Like I look at some of these numbers, and it's kind of funny because he's been one of those guys that either like clearly goes over or he goes under. Like we saw 52 and we saw 52 as far as receiving. I guess we saw 23 mixing there, 48, 22. But for him, it's kind of the receptions that I'm seeing here. He hasn't gotten fewer than 2 since the 13th of September. So, I mean, when I look at those guys and I see numbers that are that low, like how many receptions do you think he needs to go over 18 and a half? It could he get that in 2? Like, I think when I look
Yeah.
at some of the numbers, and the thing is, in some of these games where they faced good defensive teams, they've actually used him a decent amount. So I think that he could actually be someone that we could target tonight that might be a little bit under the radar looking at Humphrey over 18 and a half.
Yeah, I like it. The longer the season goes on, those are the plays that I'm gravitating towards more and more. It's just the ones that not everyone is logging in and looking at. So that's kind of where the value is, at least in my opinion, these days. So let's take a look at rushing props. Then we'll build a same game parlay. Again, not much here. The only thing that stood out to me is I'm just going by the trends. And as athletic as Bo Nix is, he's really not running recently. Look at his first 3 games of the season, just by comparison to Andrew: 35, 25, and 47. Look at his last 3: 5, 5, and -5. So it's my guess is it's probably something that like they were like, listen, if your first read isn't there, you can't just run every single time. Like you'll get yourself hurt. So the first couple of games of the year, he ran for 5, 4, and 9 attempts his last few games, 1, 2, and 3. So it's like, no, you got to go through your progression. You got to make your second read and you got to get your third read. What makes me nervous about this play is how good he is. If there's an opening, like he could easily run for over this. And he has a 23, a 22, a 21, and a 32-yard rush this year. So when a play breaks down, he can do it. That being said, he just has not been doing it. So that was the one that I was looking at. The Nick Chubb number seems about right. He did have his biggest workload of the year last week, but he's got it was a Thursday game, so he's got much more time to recover. So he's probably healthy. I don't know. Any of these rushing attempts jump out to you?
I kind of want to look at Jerome Ford under. I just feel like you look at some of these numbers for him, and a lot of these numbers are still a little bit too respected as far as, kind of some of the stuff that he did when Nick Chubb was out. I mean, obviously the 17 and a half is what it is right now for a reason, Andy, but I think that even with the 17 and a half being the number, it's not low enough. We just talked about how Nick Chubb is pretty much never going to catch a football. He's going to be acting as a running back, and if that's the case, he's hogging all the touches. You take a look at Jerome Ford, his rushing numbers last few games, his attempts 4, 5, 2, 2. You need a handful to get over there. And let's be honest, in a lot of these opportunities that these secondary guys are getting brought in, you ever notice that sometimes just a chance for the other running back to get a breath on the sideline, just to go in there and get a breather? He's going to run into an offensive line twice, maybe get a handful of yards 1 or 2 times. And let's not forget about how strong the Denver Broncos rushing defense is. It's up there as one of the best. So, and it's just moved on us right there. So, yeah, I'm going to go under. I guess we can't go under 17 and a half. We have to now go under 16 and a half. So there we go. Live on the show.
Live. You're like, I like the over now.
Yeah, that's going to land right on 17. That's going to
somehow we got middled right in the middle, right in the middle of a live show. Yeah, I think some of these, the 15 and a half, I think sounds about right. I mean, we can talk a little bit about Javonte Williams. Yikes. So this guy goes 1-for-1 against Kansas City, 9-for-59 against Atlanta, who's in free fall. And then last week, 8 carries for -2 yards. Um, hard to figure out, but 35.5 seems, I don't know. 2 out of the last 3, he's been awful, but the games that he gets, double-digit carries, he easily goes over this. But is he going to get that kind of workload? I'm not really sure. It's kind of a stay away, but I will say that the last 3 games, Cleveland has given up 143.3 yards rushing. That's above their season average. So they've been progressively getting worse. Meanwhile, Denver is the opposite. 58.7 the last 3 games, obviously way below their season average. So you got 2 rush defenses that are kind of going in opposite directions. He just
Yeah, Cleveland's overall ranking has dropped so much lately. Rushing defense, like it started off decent, like middle of the pack, and it's dropped a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bo Nix has dropped to 19.5 as well. So they're listening to us, Andrew. The DraftKings is listening to us record the show, even though we're not live. So, yeah, other than that, I think this is a pretty tough game to try and find some good value on plays. I think you might find a couple. So my best piece of advice is let's pick 1 or 2 of your favorite plays and go from there. This is not a game I would throw a lot, I'd be high volume on. So, all right, guys, we're gonna do a quick same game parlay, but real quick, just want to remind you guys, this Thanksgiving 7-day special is still going on. It expires December 3rd, so you guys still have time to take advantage of it. It's our annual special. We do not run the special very often. It's $69 for a 7-day pass. For example, if you got this last week on all my plays, you're up 18 units. So this ended up being a completely smoking deal, and you've got till the end of the day to take advantage of that. We are in play in the NBA tonight. I am 10-4 this season for plus 18 units in the NBA. We're up 112 units in 2024, plus 203 units last 2 years. That is number one. So we've got short-term success. We've got long-term success. Take advantage of that. But honestly, the biggest thing I can say for myself or Andrew is take advantage of that 7-day pass. Andrew, you've got, I believe, a top total. Mentioned you're 7-1, man, in NFL totals. So tell us about this play tonight. What you got up?
Look, Andy, first of all, I love the NBA Silent Assassin title. That's a pretty good one. I like that one quite a bit. Good promo. Look, this is the thing. The NFL is, in my opinion anyway, very hard to handicap. It's difficult. So what does that mean? I'm very, very, very selective with my plays. Just so happen to be a 4% total play going Monday Night Football. So super excited about it. Best bet. And again, these plays, you look at a large scale, this run goes back to last season, Andy. This doesn't even include this season. So
Wow.
Some might look at that and say, well, why does it matter if it goes back to last season? I look at it more so saying, I don't release a ton of these, but when I see a spot that I like, I want people to jump all over it. And like you said, the Cyber Monday deal, the Thanksgiving special we ran, that's the way to go. And the thing is, if you have 2 5% plays, you're paying off the Thanksgiving special with that. In one package, $35, in twice, right? But looking at a lot of these, and for me, the big thing I will stress is that, and I see you tweeting it sometimes on the weekend as well about Formula One stuff. Sometimes I release my plays big time in advance, overnight, in the morning. Sometimes there'll be a late goaltender change. There'll be a late injury info in the NFL. Something changes. I'm releasing plays an hour before the game, and those don't go up for sale. So you want to be able to get every single thing that we bet. And if you do that, if you buy the packages, you'll get these plays sent right to your phone, right to your email. It's the best way to go. You don't want to miss out on any of our favorite plays.
Absolutely. It is Cyber Monday. So if you want to take 25% off any package, you can do that with single game. But if you don't want 7 days, you want something longer, get you 30 days. This is the time to get 25% off. This is good for Monday only. You just use the promo code Cyber25. Again, don't use this on the daily pass. Use it on a longer term. Get the most. I'm serious. Get the most bang for your buck out of it. So that's promo code Cyber25. No promo code needed for the 7-day pass. Encourage everyone to get that. All right, Andrew, let's build a quick same game parlay here. I'll let you go first. You get the first leg of it. Where you want to start?
I mean, I want to throw in that that minus 250. I said I came prepared with that one because I knew we were going to build a same gamer. So that's under 1.5 receptions for Nick Chubb.
Okay, Nick Chubb receptions. We're gonna start with
Oh,
under.
uh-oh.
Hey,
Uh-oh.
20-cent difference. Is that good or bad? That
Uh-oh.
terrifies me. I'm gonna go with I will go with a rushing prop, and I'm gonna believe in the Bo Nix has not been running the ball. So I'll take Bo Nix under 19.5. So now we're already up to plus 166. What's your next parlay piece?
Which one should we go with? Okay, I'll go with the passing yards for Bo Nix.
Okay. Bo Nix. We'll go with
What will we make it here? What will we put it?
let's see. Bo Nix completions, passing. Where's his yards? Here, we'll go up here and we'll just take the 225. There you go. So
Okay.
now we're up to plus 365. I'm going to go with my boy Jordan Akins. Let's see if I'll go with my boy here. Ooh, 25? Yes, I will take 25. Look at this. Bo Nix under has just moved to 18.5. Oh, they took away my they took away my 19.5 because they're making me go back and get 18.5. What are they doing to me? All right, let's try this again here with Bo Nix. Oh, they took it off the board completely. All right, under 18. There's your 12 to 1er. So we got Nick Chubb under 1.5 receptions. We got Bo Nix, 225 passing yards. Jordan Akins, 25 plus receiving yards. And Bo Nix under 18.5. That's moved 2 yards just since we started recording this. So the books are on our page. So there you go, guys. There's your same game parlay. What a messy same game parlay. The odds are changing as we're recording. It's just wild. So anyway, again, this is not a big play. Let's just have a little fun with that. See if we can hit a little 13 to 1. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Andrew's got to run off and do puck time. Make sure you check that out. That's every day, Monday through Friday. And again, running the Thanksgiving special, 7-day special for only $69. Or you can take 25% off and use the promo code CYBER25. That gets you 25% off any package. Use that on like a 7-day or 30-day or something longer. So that's over at WagerTalk. Good luck on all your plays, guys. We'll see everyone later. Have a great Monday.